Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we continue reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, in the matter of creative impetus, chapter 8, the character of Bharat Maharaj, and text number 21. Okay, we'll try. It's a prose, very difficult to find a meter for this, but we will try, and anyone who would like to, they may try as well. Sivilikayam mam mrisa samadhinanim liyata drisam prema samravena Chakita agatya prisad aparusa bisanegrena lutate. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 and 3. Sivilikayang mang brisasamidanam milita Drisang prema samrambena chakita agatya pisad aparusa bisanagrena lutate. Hare Krishna. Looks like you're able to follow. Sivilikayang mang misasamadanam lita Drisang prema samrambena chakita agatya prisad aparusa bisanagrena lutate. Somebody else? Sivilikaya mang misa samadhinam lita Chakita agatya pisad aparusa bisanegrena lutati. Sidanam mang misasami danam milita Nisang prema sambramena Gita gatya prisad Akora sabisanagrena lutate. Matajis, anyone like to try? Talikaya mang misa samadhinam lita prema sambramena Okay, word for word meaning. Sivilikayam, while playing. Mam, unto me. Mrisa, feigning. Samadhina, by a meditational trance. Amilita drisam, with closed eyes. Prema samarambena, because of anger due to love. Chakita chakitaha, with fear. Agatya, coming. Prishat, like drops of water. Aparusha, very soft. Vishana, of the horns. Agrena, by the point. Lutati, touches my body. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Alas, the small deer, while playing with me and seeing me feigning meditation with closed eyes, would circumambulate me due to anger arising from love. And it would fearfully touch me with the points of its soft horns, which felt like drops of water. Purport. Now, King Bharata considers his meditation false. While engaged in meditation, he was actually thinking of his deer, and he would feel great pleasure when the animal pricked him with the points of its horns. Feigning meditation, the king would actually think of the animal, and this was but a sign of his downfall. Oma jnana timirandasya kanangana shalakaya chakshuro militam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalang Shri Gurung Vaisnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanespari Visavalo Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Sibilikayamang misa samadinan milita Drisang prema samrambena chakita Chakita agatya prisad apurusa Bisanagre nalutate. So for the last few days, we've been hearing about Bharat Maharaj, how his attention was diverted from worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead towards a small baby deer. Which means that this is not ideal. Srila Prabhupada, in one of his purports here, he explains that one thing that we should learn from this fact is that Bharat Maharaj life, Bharat Maharaj's life, should be a lesson for us to learn so as not for us to fall down. For those who are members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness and who took up the vow at the time of initiation, promising the spiritual master in front of the deities and other Vaishnavas, the disciple, he promised to follow the 4 regulative principles, namely no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, and no intoxication, and to chant minimum rounds 16 of Japa Mala, 108 in one Mala, every day, for the rest of his life. In the early days of our society, Srila Prabhupada, when he was training his very young disciples, he did not mention this prohibited regulations. He just told them to chant. And only on the day of the initiation that they asked Prabhupada, is there anything else that we have to do? Oh, I'm waiting for that day that you will ask. I thought you will never ask. So on that day he mentioned these prohibitive or regulative principles, and all the duly initiated devotees must chant minimum of 16 rounds every day. To not able to follow this vow by an initiated devotee in our society is considered as a fall down. However, it is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text 30, apichet sudaracharo, that somehow if a person performs some kind of abominable activities and it is accidental, he is still considered as a saintly person, provided that he continues to discharge devotional service. Srila Rupa Goswami explains in the Nectar of Devotion the meaning of bhakti or devotional service. He mentions in the Nectar of Devotion that bhakti means thinking of Krishna always and engaging one's mind, body, and words to please Krishna. That is the essence of the meaning of bhakti. However, also Srila Rupa Goswami mentions that there are also 2 secondary meaning of bhakti. In that verse, Anyabhilasita sunyam jnana jnana karmana anabritam, that one who practices bhakti should be devoid of karma, the mentality of fruitive gain and mental speculation. That is pure bhakti. But then there is another one which means uttama bhakti or pure bhakti, which means doing everything to please Krishna. Srila Rupa Goswami also explains in the Nectar of Devotion that there are 2 kinds of devotees. Jai Sisi Gornitai, Guru Parampara Ki Jai, Sisi Krishna Balaram, Sisi Radhe Shyam Lalita Visakha Devi Ki Jai. There is what you call the practicing devotee or sadhaka, and then there is one who is completely on the topmost level, a liberated person. Both are considered to be devotees. Now, one may ask, how about a neophyte devotee? Can he practice pure devotional service even though he's neophyte? Yes. How? If his main goal is to attain pure bhakti in spite of so many material desires, he's still considered as a Vaishnava or a devotee. That is not his precludement or disqualification. To have a material desire while practicing devotional service, but the goal is to ultimately become pure devotee, it is allowed. Provided that the material desires doesn't overcome your goal, which is to become a pure devotee. When the material desires overcome our desire to become a pure devotee, then this is what you call fall down. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he explains that material action and spiritual action go side by side, and the path of going back home, back to Godhead. How? We have to eat, and eating is material thing, right? But before we eat, what do? We first offer to the Supreme Lord. That is spiritual. So spiritual, before eating prasad, we have to offer first, which is, it's a material thing, we have to eat, but it becomes spiritualized because we know that what we're eating is spiritual, is remnants from the Supreme Lord. So we have to be careful. It's like a devotee may say, oh, I am very sick. Krishna, please help me overcome my disease. This is a material desire. Because you're asking Krishna for help. A pure devotee never asks Krishna for help. Right? So now, the problem arises when the devotees start to ask help from Krishna all the time. Actually, the devotee's desire or prayer is just, please engage me in your devotional service. So in this way, he is continuously discharging devotional service. Which means if somehow he falls down due to previous samskara, that is still not considered as very abominable. What are the causes of falling down? Of continuously becoming fallen? It is mentioned that if we cling onto continuously committing offenses and chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we will not be able to get out of our fallen condition. Not possible. Nevertheless, it is normal to commit offenses while chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the beginning. It is unnatural if you don't commit any offenses in the beginning. That means you are in the Uttama platform immediately. But for us who are in the neophyte stage, we have to commit some offenses. But to cling on committing and not to avoid offenses while chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra will cause our falling down or being in the fallen condition. One cause of getting fallen down, it's like in the early days, in the 60s, Prabhupada made a comment on this while he was giving this class on the chapter 9, text 30 of the Bhagavad Gita, that a person who has fallen down is just like a drop of water. When you hear there's a drop of water and a pool of water, what do you hear? Bloop. So it became like an ISKCON lingo, part of ISKCON lingo, that if a devotee start to fall away, then they will say, "Oh Prabhuji, he's blooped. He's blooped." So devotees started to use that. And of course, Prabhupada says we should not be surprised if a devotee lives. We should be surprised if they still here, if they remain. Just like those who are members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, our society declared war against Maya, sense enjoyment. And in due course of fighting against Maya, somebody will get hurt if they're not very strict, especially in sadhana. That includes the whole morning program and evening program and being engaged in some practical seva during the whole day, which means it will occupy our mind and our consciousness that actually I'm doing this to please Krishna. I'm doing this because my main purpose is I want to please Krishna and his devotees. This is the mentality of a practicing devotee, a sadhaka. Now, the other devotee, which is in the Uttama platform, who is performing bhakti in the highest level, he does not have to think this. It is spontaneously that he is performing his activities, which is only meant to please Krishna. He's only thinking, how will I do it for Krishna's pleasure? But still at the same time, it's spontaneous. So that is the difference. Another cause of falling down is to become proud. When you're proud, means you are envious of another devotee. And that will not help anyone on the path of going back home, back to Godhead. Becoming envious. If you see another person who is more Krishna conscious than you, and you start to become envious, then this is not good. We should be happy. On the contrary, we should be happy if we see someone who's making advancement in Krishna consciousness and try to follow in his footsteps. Also, one cause of falling down is to not revealing one's mind to somebody else whom you think will be able to help you confidentially. We all have problems. We must admit this. In the beginning of our Krishna consciousness, when we join, we think, in 2 weeks I'll become a pure devotee. Immediately. This is easy. Oh, I can follow everything. I can chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. I can get up early in the morning. No problem. But later on, in the beginning is easy. In the middle is starting to become a little bit difficult. It's like you're swimming upstream. You know, the flow of Maya is going here, but you have to go across the other side to get rid of Maya. And it's kind of like very vast. It's like an ocean. You're swimming and swimming. But in due course, you want to own your problem. You want to keep secret of your difficulties, especially those who are having positions. For the young devotees, they can ask the senior devotees, Prabhuji, I'm finding it difficult to concentrate on my japa. I'm not able to stay awake while chanting. I don't have taste for reading. They can reveal their minds. But those who have a little bit of experience or some years in Krishna consciousness, they think that oh no, this is embarrassing. I have to reveal my mind to somebody that I'm having difficulty, that my desire for material sense enjoyment is increasing. This is not good. I don't want to be known. This is not proper. Because if I reveal my mind, they will ridicule me. They will laugh at me. What will happen to my position? But I'm ambitious. I want to keep going to the highest position as possible. But at the same time, I want to keep my attachments. I don't want to give it up. What shall I do? So this is a dilemma. And don't think that you will be exempt from this. That's why in Krishna consciousness, in the Nectar of Instruction, Srila Rupa Goswami, in the 4th sloka, the Tati Pratigyanati, this like 6 loving exchanges is mentioned. And Srila Prabhupada says that our society was established in order to facilitate these 6 loving exchanges or relationship with each and every members of the society. If we don't reveal what's in our mind, if we're having difficulty, then we become duplicitous. We become pretentious. We are not what we are. We are not what we are showing externally. Because internally there is something boiling. And when it boils up to a certain degree, it'll explode. And it will cause our fall down. Bharat Maharaj, here we never heard that Bharat Maharaj as a guru. Many stories from of course his Siksha guru is his father, Rishabh Dev. But he never had this Diksha guru, one who gives the mantra. So it is very important also that we have to reveal our mind. If we don't trust or we're not confident enough to reveal our mind to somebody, then how about our guru? But most of the times it's very far away. It's like half of the world away. Oh, but there is email? Of course, but he's having hundreds of emails every day. And one of my emails will just contribute to his so many problem-solving duties to do. So, in the last few years, we have, some of our members, they were trained up to do counseling. But then, we may think, is that the qualification? He's just trained up? That I can reveal my mind to that person? Here, Bharat Maharaj, he does not have anybody to reveal his mind. But he's talking to himself. He became so affected by the relationship that he is developing with the deer that ultimately the deer became his main meditation. Now, in our movement, when we see that someone is starting to slip away, shall we just let him do it, or what shall we do? It is proper to tell that person, that devotee, that Prabhuji, I think your sadhana is becoming slack. Oh, I noticed that when you were chanting in the morning that you are sleeping. Are you okay? Your health is fine? And if the person is not honest, says, yes, Prabhu, I'm fine. I just, I'm having a little problem with my health. These are the symptoms, some of the symptoms. But it is our duty. Prabhupada says if a person leaves, 50% of the problem is because of the person who left, and 50% of the problem is from inside. It is not completely that, because a person who leaves, he will blame everybody. It's all because of you, that's why I'm going home to my mama. I'm doing okay, and I can do it also. I can practice Krishna consciousness at home more easier than while I'm inside. This is bogus. Prabhupada says that to think that one can practice Krishna consciousness without the association of devotees is living in hallucination. You know what's hallucination? Yeah, when one takes some intoxication, he lost his memory or his mind, and he thinks that, he's doing okay. He thinks that he's wearing his jacket, but he forgot his jacket somewhere else. That is hallucination. So, association is very important here. And counseling is very important. Counseling. Counseling means the duty or the service of the counselor is to help make the other devotees who needs help to make progress. Now, a person who has problem, if he accept or he realize that he has a problem, then half of the solution is done already. Now, if one has a problem and he's not acknowledging that he is having a problem here, Bharat Maharaj is acknowledging that his meditation is false. But he has no one to refer his thoughts. He did not even ask help from the Supreme Lord. He thinks that he is the one who can only take care of the deer. He's thinking that, that deer must love me also. And for to give me a lesson, then he's going away, but he will return as well. And the demigods must be taking care of him. He's not thinking Krishna is the ultimate protector of everyone, not the demigods. Isn't it? He was thinking like that. The demigods must be taking care. The deer will come back. So we may be thinking like this also. I'll take care of my own problem. I don't need anybody's help. I'm sure I'll be able to make it. We don't ask help. And who's the only one who can help us? If we don't have much confidence that somebody will be able to help us, I'm sure you'll find someone who can help you. Only Krishna can help you. If you ask help from Krishna. Ultimately, He's the only person who can protect us. And our own will not be able to do it. So, in the 1970s, temples becoming opulent, especially in Los Angeles. And one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, Govinda Dasi, she gave Prabhupada a very wonderful coat, like big coat for cold days with a peacock feather, tussle peacock feather. You have seen these pictures? Prabhupada walking in the Venice Beach, morning walks with the different disciples, like Bhakti Sarup Damodar Maharaj. He has a saffron cloth with the peacock feather to tie him up. And there is one devotee who Prabhupada, he was given a bead bag lamed with gold. So Prabhupada says, now I'm getting many things. I'm getting everything. I pray that I will not fall down. This is very important. Because part of coming into Krishna consciousness, most of us, we didn't come with anything. Just ourselves. But then, when we started to perform some bhakti, many opulences started to come. We are not expecting that it is coming, that it will be there. So we should not be in illusion that everything belongs to me and I will accumulate more and more. And in this way, it will be cause of our falling down again. So if we see others being, on the way of not be able to follow the process of Krishna consciousness, we should be willing to help them. We should be actually opening our hearts to them and ask them if there's anything I can do for you. What to say if somehow, if their offenses escalated in such a way that they left. Some devotees think that those devotees who perform bhakti and they left the society, they are completely non-devotees anymore. That when they come visit the temple, they are being ridiculed. They are being ostracized. They are being put on the side. We should be very, very welcoming there. Because hopefully someday they'll take up the process again. There is a purport by Srila Prabhupada in the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, whereby it is says that there are three kinds of devotees. One is that who is fully surrendered, 100%. Another type of devotee is that one who follows the regulative principles. And one is that just give their time. They may not be able to follow the full regulative principles. Those who are not able to follow the regulative principles, but they know they are trying to become devotees, they're still considered as devotees, but not up to the high caliber. In the 9th chapter again, the 30th verse, one time when Prabhupada was giving class in New York, he was giving an example that if you see Brahmananda Prabhu walking in the streets with a cigarette in his mouth, he's still considered as a saintly person. Very, very heavy thing. If you see a devotee who has fallen down and see in the street he's smoking, he's still considered as a saintly person, because that is only temporary. Anyone who knew Krishna or who started chanting, who started bhakti, but somehow there's some kind of stagnation, or it was stopped, that is only temporary. What is that compared to eternity? Nothing. So we should not deride them. We should actually try to welcome them as much as possible and pray to Krishna that somehow they may take up to Krishna consciousness soon. And those who are having difficulties, we are seeing, we should also pray to Krishna that please, Krishna, help them not to fall down. And those for us, we should pray for ourselves also to Krishna that we should not fall down. So this is a fact. the proof that this philosophy is actually a fact is that we are seeing it. We are seeing it, and there is a solution. Srila Biswanath Chakrabarti Thakur says that if a child falls down to the ground, what will the child do? Push the ground and stand up. Or sometimes the baby will ask the parents to please pick me up. So similarly in our Krishna consciousness, if we see that we are sleeping a little bit, if we see others sleeping, if we see others who are slept, try to help them, try to help ourselves, and in this way, we're back again in discharging devotional service, which will be considered, as Lord Krishna says, they're still saintly. If Krishna can forgive them, who are we? Why cannot we forgive them? Right? Are we greater than Krishna? Sometimes devotees are more merciful than the Lord Himself. This was exemplified in the pastimes of Kala Krishna, who was with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in South India. Kala Krishna is the personal secretary of and servant of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who got captured. He got attracted to the Bataharis, to the gypsies. It's a group of nomads type of people who lives wildly. But it is the duty of Lord Chaitanya, because they were traveling together, to save Kala Krishnadas. And for 1 year, they still continued to travel, and they went back to Puri. Then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, this is it. My responsibility now is over. I don't want to see you anymore. To teach him a lesson. But then everyone, including Lord Nityananda, says, no, please. Don't push him away. Don't push him away. And then later on, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he didn't consider that. Lord Nityananda and the other devotees, they engaged Kala Krishnadas to tell them the Leela of the Lord while they were traveling. So who are we? Who are we to ostracize or to fully disregard those who are having difficulties? Our movement is a personal movement. Of course, we do our service, but in the association of others as well. So we have to be, very, very observing. Very, very observing. Of course, a neophyte devotee, he doesn't see anybody. He only sees the Lord and himself. We should come to the Madhyam platform where we see the Lord, develop our love towards the Supreme Lord, avoid the envious, be merciful to those who are needing help, and be friendly with the fellow devotees. Get their association. So in this way, we'll be able to not be able to become victim of Maya or falling down. We'll stop here. Huh?